Alright, it's Clash of the Movie Icons, and in today's episode we pit cop versus cop. One from New York and one from Washington. In fact, it's Die Hard versus Walking Tall. I got my John Mclane wife beater shirt. Am I allowed to say that? My undershirt, the one that magically changes colors, against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Chris Vaughn in Walking Tall. Who is going to win the belt in Clash of the Movie Icons? In one corner, John Mclane. He is described as being a foul-mouthed, wisecracking, no-nonsense New York cop with an itchy trigger finger. A never-say-die maverick spirit. He is known for his one-liners, including the famous catchphrase, "Yippee-ki-yay, Mclane is consistently portrayed as a reluctant hero, with little or no assistance from others. He is required, against his wishes, to thwart the elaborate plans of a group of like-minded villains, because no one else is in a position to do so. Honorable mention to John Mclane's undershirt, which goes through as many battles as its owner, and it just doesn't look the same as it did in the beginning. And in the opposite corner, Chris Vaughn. The U.S. Special Forces sergeant, who is honorably discharged, returns to his hometown in Kitsap County. Looking for work, he finds the local cedar mill was closed down 3 years prior and turned into a casino. In fact, many things have changed in his hometown, and not for the good. Vaughn stands up for himself and the entire town and goes to war with the criminals that now run things. There we have it. It's Bruce Willis's John Mclane versus Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Chris Vaughn. Only doing Die Hard 1. Because Walking Tall is a standalone movie. There's not a part 2, there's not a part 3, and there's not a part 4. So we're just going to take John Mclane as he was portrayed in Die Hard the original. Doesn't really matter, it was the best one anyways. Although I gotta say, in the last Die Hard, I did agree with this comment.
The things we do for our kids. Yippee-ki-yay.
Who will win this Clash of the Movie Icons? Right from the start, John Mclane is dealing with all kinds of stuff thrown at him. For example, he has no shoes throughout his entire ordeal, and this causes him tremendous amount of pain and suffering. And the predicaments that he gets himself in, and the predicaments he gets himself out of, are frankly incredible. From hanging on by a machine gun strap, to crawling through the air vent, to an exploding elevator shaft. Mclane proves his perseverance and his stones. Chris Vaughn is a lot like John Mclane, but with a twist. First off, he brings it to his opponents. I mean, he starts fights, and he starts them in public. He also, in his ordeal, hangs on for dear life at a certain point. And he also takes a beating, and falls to his impending doom. He also got tasered, and he got his stomach carved up. Throughout all that, he still takes it to the main antagonist, Jay Hamilton, and he goes so far as to become the sheriff and clean house.
Watkins?
Well, you won the election. Congratulations. But we do have a tradition of professional courtesy up here, and I can personally vouch for each and every one of these men. They're good deputies.
You're all fired.
Is it possible that Vaughn has taken a lesson from real-life boss of Dwayne Johnson here? Stones and determination. These guys both had it. They endured, both of them, an incredible amount during their journey in their respective ordeals. I like the fact that Chris Vaughn wasn't just doing a journey and showing determination and stones like on the battlefield. He represented himself in court. He became the sheriff, and then he took on the town almost literally by himself. So, my nod for this round goes to
What the Rock is
because you're a policeman. There are rules for policemen.
Yeah. That's what my captain keeps telling me.
And just like that, you know that Mclane is a bit of a maverick, willing to bend the rules just a little bit to get the job done. To say Vaughn is unconventional when he is dishing out the law is an understatement. I mean, to start, he walks around with a long piece of cedar. Even when confronted with a knowledgeable criminal, he ignores protocol.
Now you read me my rights, then you take me in. I call my lawyer.
Okay, but I have a hunch there may be something else in here.
The duo absolutely decimates this vehicle looking for drugs. Now, I'm not a cop, but isn't there such a thing as a search warrant that's needed here? As far as arrests go, Vaughn uses a very different version of arrest procedure.
This is my town. You're under arrest.
Tactics. Wow. Both these guys definitely used tactics that were, I think it's called below board. But what I'm trying to say is they both use means that were outside the lines to get the job done. Justice, so to speak. So do two wrongs make a right? I don't know. This is a tough call. But both of them definitely use tactics that were a little bit outside the box. So I'll tell you, for this round here, both guys goes to John Mclane is a New York cop, so yeah, he's trained with guns. Saying that, it looks like Mclane can use a whole variety of them, including machine guns. It's his preferred weapon, but when called upon, yes, he can fight hand to hand. It isn't pretty, and it seems totally devoid of technique. But, as ugly as it is, it looks like it's quite effective. As mentioned earlier, Vaughn carries a big piece of cedar with him, and he uses it to devastating results. Now, as a sheriff, yes, he can definitely use firearms, but it is his special forces training that is evident when he fights hand to hand. He is supremely powerful, and he can take on several opponents at a time. He can also improvise when needed, ripping a tree trunk right out of the ground, and he is supremely brutal in battle. Offense. Well, John Mclane was a New York cop, so you knew how to use guns, like I mentioned before. But in terms of his fighting, he just seems like a brute, doing whatever it takes, scratching your eyes out, kicking you where you know it counts, and all that kind of stuff. I'm even sure he would resort to hair pulling if necessary, doing whatever it takes to get the victory. Where it looked like Chris Vaughn, he had military training. You could tell during his fights he had a style, he had technique. And as a sheriff, you knew how to use guns too. So for this one here, it's they're both pretty good. I'm not trying to take anything away from John Mclane, but this round goes to Final thought. Well, let me tell you, this was a very difficult decision for me because I absolutely love both characters. They're both cops, but who would come out on top in a battle? And I truly believe that this boiled down to this very thing. They both know how to use weapons. They both know how to fight. One a little bit more skilled than the other, like I mentioned before. But the thing that I liked about one of these characters was that they took it to their enemy. That they weren't forced into it like one character was. Basically, John Mclane was forced into a situation that he didn't want, and basically nobody else could do it. So for me, this boiled down to that fact that Chris Vaughn was proactive, he wasn't reactive at all, and he took it to the enemy. So, Clash of the Movie Icons goes to Now listen, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Don't get all cocky because you defeated John Mclane, Bruce Willis in Clash of the Movie Icons. let me tell you what I think.
It doesn't matter what you think!
I guess that's that. See ya.